Well, so I'm still working on this kit, which is taking a little longer than I expected. Kind of shooting myself right now. Don't know how the hell this took a little longer than normal. I thought this was going to be done and for me getting on to the next build. But it's taking a little longer for me to finish up this guy, because I wasn't actually planning to do a custom. But it just happened to start, turn into this, and can't stop. So let me show you how far I progressed with my custom build of the Black Ops GM command. Now, I've already worked, I showed you the shoulders before. Now I'm going to show you the waist unit of this. And this looks really good as is, but I wanted to put the armored layer parts on this. Now, I wasn't going to glue them on. Instead, I wanted to do something where the armor plates can be detachable. So I made something like this, as you can see here, using the plates that I've custom made. Some of them, I guess, finished sanding them down. Didn't realize that until now. Anyhow, so for something like this, this will snap, into here, because I custom made each plate like so, as you can see. I made the frame like I did with the shoulders, and then, well, with the shoulders it was easy to do because you just slide the part right on top of the shoulders. But for this, on the other hand, I had to slide it in a way where it held on into place, and I did this where it clamped. You see the adjustments right there. So we have that part there, and then we have this one here. There's a lot of trial and error with this, but in the end I was able to figure it out, and hopefully when I paint it you'll see the two-tone versions of this and how it's supposed to look. So that came out nice right there. The back end was a little bit challenging. I was actually originally going to put like one part here, one part here, but for me to put one rig to hold here and here, it was going to be a little too loose. It had to have something where it could latch on and hold onto place. So I made this little rig like this. And I wasn't actually going to put the side parts here, but I did. So as it goes down here and holds into place like so, that's how it looks. Which of course gives me enough room to put the holder for the Beam Saber hilts. And you don't have to flush it in, you don't have to push it in all the way back. You can push it all the way backwards and they'll hold it into place, but since this thing is movable like that, it could be like that. So there you go. That's actually pretty neat. Was thinking of doing the same thing here, but I said no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to put a little layer of armored parts like glued onto it. I haven't thought of what to put on yet. I have some ideas, so I'm still fleshing that out. So this part of this kit is done. The leg part was a bit of a challenge because I wanted to. When I started working on this, I thought, okay, I think I found something that will work, but in the end, it didn't turn out the way I wanted. Considering when I was doing the scribing, I messed up. So I thought, okay, I can do this, but I think I kind of still messed up. So I have to find a way to cover this and make it blend in a way which looks good. So when I did say that I was going to put these plates, like one here and one here and then two on the sides, I didn't realize that how the leg is set up like this, in this angle type setup. I didn't know how I was going to do this, and I kind of almost screwed up in one way or another, and I was going to glue this on, but I said no, that defeats the purpose of me putting it on, and then how can I take it off? So I thought of a rig, and I made this little rig right here that you see, which this uses the styrene sheet for this, where's the bag? Oh, hold on a second, guys. I thought I had it here. Oh, here it is. I mentioned it before. I might as well show it off again. This is the channel number 262. That looks like that. I was using this on the other parts of the kit, but for this one, I knew that this was going to be a little bit more, I guess, bigger and stronger, I guess you could say. It had to look a little bit more refined with more added parts, so I used the H column 282. And on combination of the 262, I made this rig where, in a way, it will connect to that and then bring it up like this to look like this. Now, I said to myself, will this work? In reality, I should have, I kind of didn't get it right, but I said, you know, I got to commit to this because I'm not really going to do this again. So, as an example, I did start putting the plates on one of the legs, and here is what it looks like that. Now, it's being held by this part here, which is good. But now, what am I doing with this one? I know I want to put a plate here, but then I don't want to glue this because then it'll be permanently on. I wanted to remove it where it's easy, you know, where it's easy to remove. I at first, and I'm looking at my leftover, I have a lot of leftover plastic parts, like the PVC parts. And one part in particular, which I'm about to pull right now, here we go. My idea would have been using this polycap to slide that in there, and then it's held on to another piece back here. The only problem is, though, it's too big, or this is too small. Hell, even I think the H version of this is probably not going to fit as well. Let me see. I have the H one. Yeah, the H one is going to be too big. So I didn't think about that ahead of time. This is all trial and error, guys. I'm just thinking out loud how to do this. Thinking of maybe something where it'll clamp on. But I don't know how to do that. I have to figure out how to do that with this kit to go through here. Because I want to put one of these guys here. At least like this. And then a frame here where it clamps onto this, and then we're done. Because I want this to be held up like this. How you see it's shown. Just thinking out loud. I was going to put some parts here, but I don't want to cover the thruster part. I'm going to do something for this as well. Yeah, this is a bit of a challenge, but I'll figure this out. Something will come up. But I am going to commit to how this looks, and I have to figure out the back. In which case, then once I'm done with that, then I move on to the next portion of the skin. That will be the chest area that you see here, which I just took apart from this, because I also removed this part, which I'm going to cut. I don't think this little antenna will do, and I'm looking into a replacement antenna or some sort of communication antenna. I'm gonna use some real world examples that I normally see online. You know, like the military vehicles that are used in overseas in Afghanistan and you know, where insurgents and fighting happens, and see what I can use as a replacement, because I'm really not digging this little guy here. I'm gonna cut this out. I was actually thinking of maybe putting this there, but then that will look a little too stupid. So let me continue with this to figure it out, and then see how it comes out. Hopefully I can figure this out. So, been cleaning up and working on this torso a bit. Removed the head, of course, and took on the front part of this kit so I can figure out how to do what I have to do. For one thing, I officially cut the part here for the antenna because I thought that is the dumbest place to put the antenna in, and I'm still thinking I was still thinking of something to put here, but then I said to myself, you know what, maybe I'll think of something to put on the head. I have an idea, I just haven't thought of it yet, and we'll see where we go from there. But as I was mentioning before, I was thinking of putting something where I can actually create a rig where it can apply as an extra layer of armor for deflection and all that stuff. And it took me a while to figure this whole thing out, and it's a pain in the ass to do this. This is what I came up with. I came up with this little contraption, as you can see here. Put a little bit of detailed plates here like I did here. I'm going to probably put something around here and here in the back. The sides are okay, but if I do this, put it right on top of that, like so, then you have that. And if I put the head here, that's fine. So everything looks good here, except I'm not fond with what this came out with. So I'm maybe thinking of putting another plate here, but I think that may be a little bit too much. I think I have something in my inventory of parts. Like I found this extra part here from another kit, but maybe I could put it right there. Actually, to say the truth, that looks nice. I have that. That's a good idea. I don't know if you could see it. I have another one that actually, where the hell I put that? Thought I put it here someplace. But yeah, this one looks pretty cool to do something like that, and I can probably put that here where this can be easily removable. I was actually thinking of putting an extra part here out to the side and put something there, but I think that will probably hinder its movement if I put something here and if I have to move the arms a bit, so I'm going to leave that part alone. I'm going to put an extra layer of plow plate here, down here, and on the side to give it more detail. This back part is nice, and I'm actually thinking just to leave it alone, but I'm thinking of using the photo etch parts. I just saw this a few moments ago. I've been making a bit of a mess here. Darn it, and I just had it here a minute ago. Oh, here we go. Using this, like I did with the vents on the GM Sniper Custom, I could probably put like a vent there and there. Yeah, two of those would probably be fine there. Don't know if I'm going to... Can't do it on the inside because the thruster nozzles are way too close to the inside. But then again, I could always sand down the side thruster nozzle so I can put it in there. Yeah, the smaller one should be sufficient enough to go in here. And I'm going to probably drill a hole for that, or maybe leave that alone. Maybe just... Actually, no, I'm going to have to drill a hole because I have the photo etch parts that may go there. Let's see, what's the biggest hole I have here? 2.1. I think that fits that. I'll probably put one over it just to see if it fits. I have another one here that it doesn't have to be that. It could be this. I don't have nothing for that guy. Okay, so far alright. I think I finally figured this out. Let me flesh out a little bit more of the armor. Try to find something to clean that up on the neck area, and then once I'm done with that, I'll do a final assembly so we could all finally see how this kit would look like. Well, with so many trials and errors, and a lot of errors, this is what my interpretation of what I wanted to do of the kit looks like. Boy, it does look ugly. Very ugly indeed. Well, concept-wise, shoulders look good. Kind of like how this came out with the overall design, so that came out fine. I was in the middle of working on the legs when I was doing the side armored parts for the knees, which screwed up. But now it's kind of covered up with this setup, which I will get to in a minute. The chest part was the one that I was kind of figuring out how I'm going to do this. And what I did, as you can see there, I did the rig in the past video that I showed, and the whole armored part this whole section can be removed. The shoulders can be removed, the chest can be removed. The waist unit is the one that I showed off, and this one came out really good, how its overall design is. As you can see, I didn't want to put no armored parts on the side skirts, because you have the arms there, so that's going to protect it in one way or another. But then again, some will argue, oh, it's holding up its gun. This part was the one that I had the most trouble with, and it didn't come out as what I expected. Like I mentioned before, this whole rig is good as a cage-like system, but it should have been more conformed to the leg itself, how the leg gets bent and all that stuff. How I'm holding it up right now, or how it's holding it up into place, was the one that took me a long time to figure, and I created this little rig, as you can see here. Now, as I mentioned before, I was going to use a polycap type thing, one of my older polycaps, which was a square one, which did not fit on the styrene sheet. But the styrene sheet, I thought to myself, well, if it won't fit, why not increase the size of the styrene sheet? So I put another layer of styrene sheets on it, sanded it down, and it came out okay. But then it turns out that it wouldn't work, because the whole thing would have been sticking out a little further. It wouldn't be conformed to the leg in the way I was thinking at that moment. So I went back to the drawing board and I said, all right, how am I going to do this? And then it just occurred to me, maybe it's a way I can latch it on, like connect it as a hook. So I made this little latch design right here, which I don't know if you guys can see. Let me see if I could zoom in on this. You see how it's held in there? That's the design right there that I thought. And genius in one aspect, but not the best, you could say. And this part I need to sand down a bit, because one will hold better than the other. It's not done properly. I made a mess. The lower part was a bit of a mess, and of course this hand fell off. But it works. It's held on to place. I can't wait to reinforce it a bit, prime it, paint it, get it done, because I'm getting a little tired of this guy right here. You guys also seen the back skirt armor right here. Didn't put no armor parts there, like I mentioned, so that's pretty much what it looks like. And to finish it off, let's put the rifle, which I finished, which a lot of people were giving me a lot of props for that. The rifle, I think, is the best part of this kit. There you go. I didn't make the attachment yet. I'm still in I don't know. I was so busy with this guy, I said I wanted to finish that first, because the attachment, I thought maybe I'll take it, it'll be done quick. But I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about that. But here's what it looks like with the hands supporting the gun. And there you have it. The whole concept of this, of course, is this is a seasoned mobile suit that has been through, through battles for many years. It's probably already an outdated mobile suit, but it has to, the pilot of this probably, you know, wants to continue using it, and to increase its longevity of the kit, of the, I'm sorry, the mobile suit, they graft on these extra armored parts to protect it against vulnerable areas around the suit during combat. Modified its gun for more accuracy and, you know, firing capacity. The plates, of course, can be ejected and purged out in case, you know, the plates already are worn out or needs a boost of, you know, of mobility, stuff like that. These are idea concepts that I wanted to incorporate on this kit for a custom build. I didn't realize this was going to take this long, but this was what I had in mind. So what do you guys think? Is it the most ugliest piece of shit you've seen so far? No, it's not ugly, but it's something that I haven't thought of trying yet. I wanted, these are things that come to my head, and I wanted to test it out, test out the waters, see how it comes out. It's not the most attractive, but it's the most interesting. So I'm going to begin tidying it up a bit, sanding down some areas, reinforcing it with a little bit more glue, because I've been using a combination of the extra thin cement, quick setting, and of course my Loctite. I'm going to put a little bit more detail on areas that I think I might have missed. Is one of the other calf leg I didn't finish. I didn't finish scribing, so I need to do that. And yes, before somebody commented down below, the thrusters go on the other side. I got it. Shut up. I know. So that I'll take care of. But at this moment in time, once I'm done with all that, take it apart, and we'll begin priming this kit for painting.